guys, it's Brandon Cruz with Damon's Real Texas Barbecue again. We're going to do another video for you. This time, this video is by request. We had somebody on the YouTube channel ask if we could do a video of how we make our tortillas. We make homemade tortillas here, and we make them out of rendered brisket fat, also known as beef tallow. So we're going to show you the whole process. I'm going to show you how we render the brisket fat into tallow. Then from there, how we use the tallow to make the tortillas. So it'll be basically a three-step process from us grinding up this tallow, this beef fat, putting it on the pit. Then I'll show you how we strain it. And then from there, how we make the tortillas. So it's a pretty neat process. It's simple. You can do this at home. Even if you don't have a grinder, you don't worry. The reason I use a grinder, it's a whole lot faster than cutting up all this fat. These right now, they're big chunks. You'll see it here in a second. But we can use, what I like to do is get it into really small pieces because it renders a whole lot faster than leaving it in these large chunks. So if you want to just get a good sharp knife, cut it into small pieces, the colder the fat is, the easier it is to cut. So you can even freeze this and then cut it up with the knife. It'll be a whole lot easier on you if you don't have a grinder. If you have a grinder, no problem. Throw it through there, one quick grind, and you're done. And then it'll go straight on to the barbecue pit. One thing I wanted to mention in several of my videos, and I keep forgetting, is plastic bags. I have seen several people over the years use trash bags. They'll season all their meat. They might have like 20 briskets that they're doing for a fundraiser, and they'll season all their meat and then they'll throw them into trash bags. Please do not do that. That is not safe. Trash bags are not meant for food to go in. Once you've throwing food away, yeah, that's fine. But food that you're going to consume, do not put it in a trash bag. The reason for that is they line trash bags with a chemical powder to keep them from sticking. And that chemical powder is not supposed to be consumed. You can sometimes feel it on some trash bags. Now, what these are actual ice bags. Ice bags are food grade. So if you can order ice bags, it's the safest way to go. I get these from a company called International Plastic. You can find them at innerplast.com. You can buy a box of these there's like 500 of them for about $60 or so, $65. So that is the safest bet. They'll last you a long time. I mean, I probably go through plastic bags around here, a whole box of them, maybe every month and a half or so, 2 months. So somebody who doesn't cook every single day, those bags will last you a long time. So please do that. Okay, so now that we've covered that, I'm going to show y'all. We're going to do a real quick grind. It's not going to take very long at all to grind this entire bag up. We're going to put it into this pan. If you notice, this pan is dark and tarnished. It's because this is the pan I use to smoke stuff in. It goes onto the barbecue pit every week. I'm cooking something in it. I have an insert as well. This is a 4-inch pan. I have a 2-inch insert that has a ton of little holes in it. I cook my meatloaf in there. I'll put my meatloaf on. As it cooks, all the fat drains to the bottom. Pull that insert out along with your meatloaf. Invest in a pan that you strictly use just to throw on the pit. Now, you don't have to throw it on the pit to render brisket fat. You can throw it in your oven. You don't need a lot of high heat. You can throw it in there at like 250. Let it run 6 to 8 hours, giving it a stir every now and then. That's all you got to do, and it'll all render out. Then you just strain it and go from there. But I'm going to glove up real quick. We're going to grind this up, throw it on the pit, and I'm going to show you also after we grind what we add to it. You don't add much, but all right. So cut our bag, turn our grinder on. Set that right there. And I spoke about it last time we did a video, and I called this grinder a Walton grinder. It's not, it's a Weston grinder. I bought it from a company called Walton, which sells a lot of sausage products. That's why it was a sausage video. And I was in my head thinking Walton, but it's Weston. This is a Weston grinder. So you can see it's just pure fat coming out. It's going to render real easy. Now there's some meat still on this, very little. Most of the meat we save for making sausage. Yesterday, when we were trimming briskets, somebody had mentioned that they were doing a benefit for a lady who lost her daughter. They're going to do it today, and I ended up just donating all the beef trimmings, ground it up for them, and made hamburger patties so that way they could sell plates today. But this is the fat off of those that came off of those trimmings. So when you cut up your brisket, if you'll watch some of my other videos, I have a brisket trimming video, you'll see where we separate the fat and the meat. Like I say, some of these you can see still have a little bit of meat on there. Nothing major. It doesn't, you don't have to get it perfect. It's not going to hurt if there's meat in this. It's not going to hurt at all. Just try to get as much as you can off so that way you can save the meat for other things. Hamburger, sausage, meatloaf, carne guisada, whatever you want. Now, I've mentioned in the past the uses you can use with beef tallow. Here we use it for our tortillas. Other pit masters will sometimes, when they wrap their briskets, they'll put a scoop of beef tallow right on the brisket and then wrap it up and throw it back on the pit. There's several uses. You can use it to fry French fries in, whatever. It makes excellent grease to use to fry vegetables, fry meat, whatever. It has a really high burn temperature. It won't. You can run it up to 450 and not have a problem with it burning. And the flavor is just out of this world. This is what basically lard, is. This is what McDonald's used to make their French fries. Fry their French fries in lard or rendered fat, and that's what gave it the great flavor. All right, so in my previous videos, you have seen that I'll dump ice in here to get the last of the meat out. We won't do it in this situation. The reason for it is fat and water don't really mix, so we're just going to stop right there. We got plenty of beef fat here for what we're going to do. So I'm just going to take the gloves off, cut the grinder. All right, so now what we're going to do before we throw it on the pit, we're just going to add a little salt. Yes, I know this thing says black pepper, but it says salt. For a amount this size, I'm going to do about 1/4 cup. If you're doing a smaller portion, you can do a couple tablespoons. All this is just going to do is just give a little bit of flavor other than just the beef. You'll get a little bit of saltiness. Also, pull out any impurities in the fat and stuff, but I always do it. So now we're just going to throw it on the pit. Throw it on the pit real quick. One of the timers in the kitchen's going off. We're going to set it in here at one of the top racks right there, and it's just going to ride all day until my briskets have been on already for about 3 hours. They probably have another maybe 6 hours or so. whole time it's cooking, I'm just going to leave that brisket fat right there. Every now and then when I come check on the briskets, I'm going to stir it. And that's it. I mean, it's a real simple process. So like I say, you don't have to have a pit to do it. You can do it in your oven. You can do it in a little Dutch oven. Put it in there, put the lid on it, throw it in the oven. That's a simple way. It's the way I used to do it at home when I needed some beef tallow and I didn't feel like firing the pit up. But that's it for now. We'll come back and we'll show you how we strain it when it's done. And then tomorrow we will show you how we make tortillas with it. All right, guys, we are back. We got our fat here rendered down. It's been on the pit for about 5 hours. All we did about every hour or so, I'd open it up and give it a good stir. But you can see how much, this is probably going to be over a gallon of rendered tallow. So we're going to go ahead and strain it. I'm going to show you how we do that. I use 2 pots, real simple. Got a strainer that's going to catch all this fat and let the oil actually go down. And then from there, we will go to this pot, which has a paper filter, which will strain that grease really good and make it crystal clear. You'll just have that real pretty yellow tint to it, but it'll catch any little larger particles or small particles. All right, so see if I can do this. This sucker's still pretty warm. Just came off the pit. So it all didn't fit there, so we're just going to give it a second. I have heat treated gloves or cotton gloves underneath these nitrile gloves, so that way it doesn't burn my hands when I'm doing this. Don't do it without it, because you will definitely feel this. I can feel the heat coming through it. I'm just going to push it, let it strain out. I can see it at the bottom there coming out as I push it. All right, it looks like most of it has come out. Well, no, if I push, I get more. We're just trying to get as much of it out as we can, because this stuff is like liquid gold. Actually, here in Texas, a lot of people do call it liquid gold, because you can use this stuff for everything. All right, I'm going to dump this. Put it back and filter the rest of it. Now, depending on how much you're making, you might not need these big strainers and stuff. You probably do it with smaller ones, but this is a lot. Like, this will make tortillas for us for probably the next month. But you know, if you're doing small batches of fat, which you can, you probably don't need a big, huge strainer like this in a pot. You can probably do it in smaller jars, mason jars, and actually that's what we're going to put it in when we get done. I usually put them in mason jars, put a label on them, what they are and the date, and they go in the fridge. And in the fridge, this stuff will last you about 6 months. If you leave it out, it's only going to last you maybe a week or so. So throw it in the refrigerator, take it out as you need it. If you put it in a Fry Daddy, whenever you get done, strain it out, throw it in the fridge. It'll last a whole lot longer than just leaving it in your Fry Daddy, because this is animal fat, so it will mold and mildew. You know, it's the shelf life on it, leaving it out, like I say, is probably about a week is the most. But if you put it up, put it in the fridge, it'll last a long time. All right. All right, so we are done with that one. Now we're going to filter it through the paper filter. And if you look right now, you can see how foggy and it is. It's not real clear. But once it goes through this paper filter, it'll be crystal clear. Just gold goodness. All right. When it gets right there at the very end, I usually go ahead and pull the filter out. Clips in at the bottom, so I got to kind of pry it out. There it goes. And then I'll just wring that out. I won't do it too hard, because if you do, you will push actual solid material through the paper if you push hard enough. Just give it a gentle wring, and I think we're good. I'm gonna fill this big wide mouth one first, because I don't really need a funnel, but I will on these smaller ones. Oh, and I'm gonna have to wash that lid on that other one. But look how pretty that is. There we go. And now that right there will make some amazing tortillas. It's liquid gold. All right, guys, now this is the last part of the video where we're going to show you how we actually make the tortillas with the beef tallow that we rendered yesterday. We have that here. We have 9 cups of flour, 8 teaspoons of salt, it's a heaping cup of the beef tallow, and 3.5 cups of warm water. And so we're going to put that here, get it going, put it in the mixer. While that's doing that, we'll talk about our little press here. So this is my wife, Shelly, and she's going to do the tortillas like she does every week.
Okay, one thing I want to point out though is normally when you measure dry ingredients, you use these kind of cups, and this is for liquid. I prefer doing my flour this way because it gives me a little bit more and gives me basically something to work with. All right, so I already have the flour in here. 2, and this is a 2 teaspoons, so 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, all right, when I do the tallow, I do measure, but you'll see that I kind of put more than you're supposed to. It makes the tortillas softer.
And also the tallow, we don't take it right out of the refrigerator and start using it. We actually will then set it out so that way it ends up melting some. It's not hard like lard.
It's easier to work with.
Yeah.
This is a little runnier than I'm used to, so I'm just going to add a little bit more.
Yeah, I took this one out last night. That's why it's a little runnier.
A little too runny. All right. And then basically all you're going to do is just kind of work that tallow into that flour. So for the next part, I'm going to take my gloves off because when you're mixing, you want to feel the dough and you're looking for a certain consistency. So we're ready for the mixer. All right, we're going to start out slow, and you're slowly going to pour in your water.
And that water is warm. It's not boiling. It's just warm water.
So I'm going to check the consistency. Oh, okay. It pulls too much. I need that cup of flour. And it's still a little sticky, so it needs a little bit more flour. Okay. Could probably use a little bit more flour. It's less sticky and it's a little more pliable. Add just a touch more. All right. Still, it's still a little bit, still probably needs a little bit more flour. You want to be able to pull it and it not just snap. There it is. Now it's a little more pliable. Yeah, it's good. The next thing is to actually do the balls. So we do the Mac Daddy burrito here, and our burrito is a good size. And the burrito ones, they weigh 0.5. I have a scale over here. Oh, a little bit too much. Dead on the money.
So with flour tortillas, it's a little bit different than if you were making corn tortillas. Corn tortillas, you've probably seen the presses in the store, cast iron little presses. Those are great for corn tortillas. Flour tortillas don't work with those. So with corn tortillas, when you press corn with press masa, it presses out and it stays that way. With flour, it doesn't happen. You have to usually roll it and work the dough out. If you use a press, the press has to actually heat. Um, or if it doesn't, what will happen is the dough will contract back. You could press out a 14-inch tortilla and come back the next day, put it in the refrigerator, come back the next morning, and that's now an 8-inch tortilla. So you have to apply heat to it while you're pressing. Well, tortilla presses start out around $2,500 and go up. I looked at them when we first opened the restaurant. I was like, man, there's no way I'm spending $2,500 on a tortilla press just to make some burritos and a few tacos. So I went to see a friend of mine who is a welder, has a welding shop here in town, TJ Welding, and him and I were speaking about it, and I was showing him what I was thinking at the time, that we could build a steel press that we could actually lay on our griddle, and we could press them out. Well, he asked me, he said, what do those, tortilla presses look like that are $2,500 or so? So I showed him one, and he's like, man, that just looks like a shirt press. And he was like, my wife has one just like that, a shirt press that looks like that. So we went and looked at her shirt press, and we got the idea. We're like, you know what? I think we could turn this into a tortilla press. So I ordered a brand new shirt press, never been used, brand new out of the box for like $200 or $250. And then he got some stainless steel and put it on the bottom. So this is a rubber mat so that when you do the shirts, you can press down on it. Well, we knew we couldn't make tortillas on this. So he put a stainless steel plate, bent it for me where it fits perfectly on that rubber mat. Now this top part, this is slate. And this slate, people cook on slate all around the world. So we knew we could use that without having to cover it. So this is the only part that heats up. The bottom doesn't get hot. So what we have it currently set at is 400 degrees for 15 seconds. This won't fully cook the tortilla, but it's going to heat it enough so that the tortilla doesn't shrink back up on us. That way, what we can do is press it. It'll stay that shape and size. We'll put it in a bag, put it in the refrigerator, and then when somebody orders a burrito, we pull it out, put it right on the griddle, and finish cooking it. So it's basically par cooking it, so that way the shape doesn't change. And it has a timer. It clocks down from 15 seconds. It'll beep when it's done. And then all we have to do is flip it over, do the other side, since only one side of the plate is heating, and we're done. I mean, this is way faster, and you can see how it puffed up. Makes a perfectly round tortilla without having to sit there and roll it out. Because trust me, you don't want to see my tortillas. They'll be the shape of Texas or
Mine
Florida.
look like California.
And there it is. We have a perfectly done tortilla. So that was the burrito tortillas. The other tortillas that we use for the tacos, she weighs them out to 0.2 and then press them, and you'll see it'll make a smaller tortilla.
We use these for our brunch on Sunday, making our brisket and egg tacos.
So you always put a little bit of flour down so that way it doesn't stick. While you're doing that, I'm going to go put this on the grill so that way we can.
And by weighing them out, you get the same size every time.
All right, guys, so I threw this tortilla on the grill real quick. It is really hot. They're fantastic. All I need is some butter. And man, but that's it. It's a simple process. Making the tallow, making the tortillas, even making the press isn't hard. So if that's something you want to do instead of rolling out tortillas, you can. My grandmother's probably rolling over in her grave, but this is a whole lot easier to do than sitting there and rolling tortillas, because we did when we first opened. We were over there making tortillas in the morning, and that was an hour and a half process, if not longer. So now it's a whole lot quicker to just press them out, and they're ready to go. So I hope this helps. Like I said before, the tallow, you can use it for tons of things. You don't have to just use it for tortillas. You might make tamales and you need lard. You can use that and do brisket tamales, where you put brisket inside the tamale. Use this in your masa. Just nothing but beef on top of beef flavor. So anyway, that's just something we wanted to show y'all. If y'all have more ideas, let us know of videos. You know, we're willing to do anything. I've always said, she argues with me all the time. She gets mad that I say there are no secrets in barbecue, because
There's a few secrets.
Seasoning doesn't make barbecue good. It's the pit master. So when I always say that you're not buying the brisket I just made, you're buying the thousands of briskets I made over the years that got me where I am today. So all it takes is practice. You know, anybody can do this stuff. If you have questions, message us on our social media. Add all our social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't think there's any social media that we're not on. TikTok. Of course, our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. But if you have any questions, you know, please shoot us a message. We're glad to answer them. And if you have a recommendation for another video, let us know. We'll knock the video out for you, and hopefully it'll help to answer any questions you might have. Thank you. God bless you. And remember, smoke meat, not meth.